Hey, welcome back to ZK Master Tech. Today we've got a 9510R that's down here in the field. Customer called in, said he had a coolant hose rupture and it was leaking, and he was also getting some fan speed low codes. And I came here and checked out the tractor and it's not so good. Let me bring you in here. Let's check it out. All right, so we got the service gator here because the ground's just a little too damp to drive the 22,000 pound FAV 2 out here. I didn't want to sink her, so I don't need that much tools to do what I got to do right now. But customer said that he pulled the coolant hose off the coolant reservoir. As you can see that it's black right now, and nothing but oil and sludge came out of that hose. It was just black goo. So we have oil in the coolant. Let me see if I can give you a taste of what's going on. There's the cap. There's the coolant tank. It doesn't, it's hard to see on camera, but it's just full of oil. The hose that ruptured is the line, this hose here, that goes from the bottom of the tank down to a metal pipe that goes down to the water pump. That rubber line right there, you see it's got oil on it, goes down to this metal pipe right here, connects back there. And so that's our coolant leak, but we've got oil in the coolant. So I looked up the work order history of this tractor. Has had the head bolt pip done to it, where we put sealed head bolts in it to fix the oil going into the coolant around the head gasket. So it's had that done already. So, but I was looking at this oil cooler right here, and it looks like it's never been taken off. I didn't have any history of the oil cooler ever coming off of this thing. So, game plan, I ordered parts, having them brought here, gonna put a hose on it, fill it up with water, and then the customer wants to do 2 more rounds to finish this up so he can plant this field today. And then we're gonna drive this tractor 4 miles that way back to his shop so we can take the oil cooler off, take it to a radiator shop, have it pressure tested, and then we'll know where we need to go from there. If the oil cooler comes back good, then we know the problem is more than likely in the head area. If it comes back bad, we can replace the oil cooler. I'll take the thermostats out so we can properly flush the engine, try to get as much oil out of the system as we can. Once we get that all clean, then we'll replace all the rubber coolant hoses, because what happened to that hose right there is whenever you get oil in the coolant, that oil damages that hose and softens it really bad, and it'll cause those coolant hoses to rupture. So that's what happened to that guy right there. So once we get all the oil out of the system, then we can go ahead and replace the coolant hoses, and we'll also replace the coolant tank. I'll show you guys my whole flushing procedure. And as far as the fan drive goes, you can tell how the drive is kind of out just a little bit. See how that pulley there is sticking out just a little bit more, and the belt looks pretty thin. But when I came around to check the fan drive, the splines are done. See how the bolts on the shaft doesn't move at all, and how much wobble I have in this. So it's got the old style wet driver, so you got the grease zerks up in here. Those are now subbed to a dry driver, and you guys have seen me put the dry drivers on in the past, especially on the 9-liter engine. Basically the same principle, it's just bigger on this one. So we're going to go ahead and update the fan drives, put the the drive and the driven in so he doesn't have any more future fan drive problems. But that's after we get this thing up and running. I think it should be okay to put water in it, get this thing running just so he can do literally like 2 passes and get this done. And then we can drive it to his house and do a little further investigation. All right, let's get this hose off of here. Oh yeah, look at that. Lovely. All right, got the bleeding stopped temporarily for now. Here's where the other hose went, boom. Right there. Great. So I'm gonna fill it up with water for now. Got clamps on that hose, so we should be able to get this thing filled up and finish this field maybe. She's full of water. It's alive. Sounds kind of funky. You can do it, little buddy. You can do it! Just 2 more rounds. Man, that field cultivator is noisy. Hammer down. Almost done. Made it. So we got the tractor back to the customer's shop. You know, John Deere tractors are just pretty darn tough, you know it? And I was actually more worried about the fan drive blowing up. Rather, wasn't too worried about the oil in the coolant. These things can run with a little oil in the coolant, no problem. I was a little bit more worried about the fan drive, but you know, since I hadn't had a chance to run the tractor since that hose was blown. After I got that hose on, he was working the ground in the field. I did notice kind of a bearing turbo kind of noise. It kind of followed the speed of the turbocharger. So I think we need to investigate a little further into that. Maybe we've got a VGT turbo going bad. And so we're going to put the hood in, you know, let's work on me mode. And maybe I can get in a little closer, listen to this noise, see if we can figure that out to make sure we don't need more parts. Shall we? Okay, let's fire this thing up now. Hear that? So I am 98.2% sure that the turbo's going out in this thing. Can't verify that yet because we got this thing hotter than Shania Twain in the 90s. And, you know, it's going to be hard work on a turbo that's 10,000 degrees. So I'm kind of trying to come up with a plan of attack here. You know, do we just go ahead and go gung-ho on the oil and the coolant situation? Still pretty hot, you know, coolant's going to be boiling. Or do we go in the fan drive? All right, so I have a plan. Bandana's on, we're in go mode. I went ahead and ordered a VGT turbo. Should have parts for the morning. You know, we'll work on that when this thing's cooled down. And I'm gonna go ahead and work on the oil cooler and getting the coolant drain and everything like that. And then we'll do the fan drives, get that all done today. Today's Friday. It's like 2:28 in the afternoon now, so we gotta get moving here. And then we'll come back tomorrow and work on the turbo. So let's get this thing drained down. All right, so I'm going to pull this hose off here because I don't want all the oil that's trapped in the top of the system to go back down through. There, should be good enough. Well, I got the block draining down. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on these fan drives. I just gotta take the fan off, take this outer shiv off, take the belt off, unbolt that driven, get it out of there, unbolt this one. I'm gonna go ahead and take these shields off and the alternator offs, and I'm probably gonna take this off in order to get the new bigger one up in there. You need some more clearance right here, so I'm gonna get that done. All right, got the fan and the belt off and this outer shiv off. Look at this. Yeah, bushings, splines, everything, toast. Hoo-wee. Look at all that metal. Bushings gone, splines are gone, almost sheared off. Man. Yep. It's not good, Captain. She done. All right, we got the crane out. Got a strap down to there. I'm tired of fighting those by hand. That was sweet. So much easier. I got the goo on me. It's time to pull this driven out. Got all the bolts out. Done. Kind of got to manhandle that one out because you can't get your strap in there. I mean, when I go back in, I'll probably run a strap around the top of these hoses, maybe. We'll see. Got the new fan drive here, and we need to swap out, take this plug out because there's a vent that we need to take off of that one, put it in there, and I got to take the shivs and everything off. in order to have enough clearance to get in the hole. Got the new fan driven right there. Look how much beefier that thing is. See, this has a spline shaft in the middle. This one does not. This shiv just rides onto bushings on the shaft in there, and then it engages by these drive cogs here. So you don't need grease in those. All right. I got Tegan here is going to help me. We're just going to manhandle this sucker in. I put a block in there to help rest my elbow somewhere. And it just barely fits in this hole. I mean, barely. So the sensor has to go to the top. Okay, right about where that connector is. So if that needs turn, you might have to turn it. Oh, baby. Well, I'm gonna go back. That fan is really screwing me up. The problem is, I can't get the fan back in with that on. Right? This sucker is heavy. No doubt about it. I got maybe an idea. If I can get use the belt as a lifting device, maybe. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Hold on just a second. All right. I'm gonna try to go straight up with it. You gotta get it turned. Yep, there you go. Yeah. Oh, come on. All right. Yep. Run all the way in. It'll stay if you just run that top one all the way in. Okay. Whew. Yowza. That thing will make a man out of you. Thank you, sir. I can get them by myself, but man. Now it's time to put the drive in. We get to cheat though on this one. Rotate. Oh, stupid wiring harness in the way. How about now? Oh man, got bolt started. All right. Well, that crane is a godsend. Fan drive bolted in. I'm going to throw the alternator back on, get the fan belt on, the outer sheave on, and get the fan blade on, and get the shields back on, and then the fan drive part of this job will be done and over with. Fan drive complete. All right, now that we got the fan drives done, I'm going to peel all these black shields off of here so I can work on getting that thermostat housing off so I can get the thermostats yanked out. And then we want to yank out that oil cooler right there, put a new one on, put that all back together. We're going to fill it up with soap and water, and we're going to run it real good, and then we're going to drain it and let it drain all night. We're going to leave. We're going to come back with turbo and more parts, and we're going to replace the turbo first thing, get that all done, and then we'll fill it back up with water again, and then we'll run it, and then we'll dump it, and we'll keep repeating that process until we got clean water coming out. And then we'll replace all the coolant hoses, the coolant tank, and then we should be good. So get out of there. Dropped it. Metal checker 9000 engaged. Got it. If you don't have one of these on you, you're naked. Gotta have flashlight, pen, marker, regular screwdriver, mini pry bar, and an extendable magnet. Or you're not a mechanic. I'm sorry, you're just not. Maybe some pliers, maybe a bigger flashlight, You off. Boop. Of course there's a 15 in there. So this dog keeps trying to kill me with this ball. It keeps putting this ball right behind me, and then I go to step and I trip on this ball. Come on. Yeah. So I'm trying to work and throw the ball so it doesn't end up on the bottom of my ladder. 15. No, I'm not throwing the ball again. You're wearing me out. No, stop it. You want to come out of there now? Thank you. Set you over there. $9,000 shields later. Trying to determine whether I need to pull this pipe off or not, but I think a guy's gonna leave it. Maybe. Chasing the ball. That dog has no quit. Just keeps coming back with the ball. Oh, here it comes. He's gonna drop it right behind me. Oh, yep. Guy needs a ratchet wrench. Freaking paint. It's John Deere's Loctite. Boop. Bug flew in my ear. Get that coolant bypass tube out. Dog! Sunglasses, safety engaged. You gotta get this bypass tube to separate. Work with me now. There's such a pain in the butt to get out. Come on. Give it up. Jeez. Mercy. I hate this thing. Hate it. Move you off there. Oh boy. I need that to swivel. Out of my way. Come on, deep creep. I just need you to swivel. Just a smidge. 5/8 snap-on flank drive for the win. And deep creep. Whole pipe's wanting to spin. Man. Really think you have to go. Oh, mercy. Did that just break? Yep. Broke it off. Dang it. Just snapped that fitting off in that exhaust pipe. Ugh. Dang it. That's going to be fun to drill and tap. And now I'm going to have to get a fitting. All right. Sorry, I just realized my camera angle was horrible and all you could see was my back. So I apologize. So, now we just got to hope and pray we can get that fitting out of this line. Assumption shows the line. I don't have it on hand at my store. So, worst comes to worst, we can get another line, but dang it. I just needed that. So this was here in my way. I just wanted to swivel. And I just barely turned that thing and just snapped it off. It was nothing. Oh, it's enough to make you mad. There. You hang out there. I need more weapons. Alright, I'll get this upper radiator hose off. What did it? I grabbed the wrong size. Brain's getting tired. Apologize. Will you come off now? Yep. Removed. Boy, you're dirty. So, There's a coolant line back here that you got to take off. Yep. What are you, 15s? Mid torque won't care. Nope. Okay. All right. Ew. Man. Look what the oil did to my thermostats. Rubber is gone. That's nice. Time for scrapage. Try to get 90% of it scraped off. All right. Whiz bang time. Buffed. I'm gonna clean the other thing. Let's get these thermostats yanked out. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Stay. Awesome. Get that cleaned up. New thermostat seals. Thermostats. Bloop. Done. All right. Got everything cleaned up. So, sorry I misspoke. I'm not putting thermostats in it yet. We're going to first put, a new gasket on and put this all back together because we're going to run it without thermostats so we can flush this thing a lot easier. Okay. Got the thermostat housing all back together. Now I'm gonna take this line off here. So it's kind of out of my way. This thing's got a bunch of 13s and 15s holding it on. Got any more 13s? Yep, sure do. Right there. Plop. You can see where the oil ports were and the coolant ports. The oil cooler on. All right, so the new oil cooler is on and torqued. The 15s torqued to 52, the 13s torqued to 26. Got that line back on. And I got some bad news. Well, while I had my teeth right here I hooked my peepers up to the exhaust manifold, and I found, oh, can you see it? This stud. Oh, yep. Exhaust manifold stud snapped off. Right in that hole. Oh boy. Anyway, so I talked to the customer and gave him his options, and we're going to hold off on the turbo and the exhaust manifold studs so we can do that job all at once. So I just got to try to get this tractor run 2 or 3 more days, and I would rather not open Pandora's box tomorrow because I already have to drill and tap out that fitting and that U-pipe. So we're going to hold off on the turbo and just pray she makes it. If it gets louder, we can always stop and come put a turbo on it. You know, it only takes a couple hours to do that. So I gave the customer his options, and that's what he wants to do. So we're not going to be doing the turbo. So now, still tonight, it's 7:30 in the evening. Now I can go ahead and get the cooling system filled with soap and water and run it real good, and then I'm going to let it drain overnight, and then I'm going to come back with parts to fix this fitting that I broke off and a new pipe, or someone's going to run the new pipe over to me, and we'll continue flushing it, and then we'll end up replacing all the coolant hoses in the coolant tank and all that good stuff. So I'm going to get this thing filled up with water and get it running. All right, well, I got it full of soap and water. We're going to run it. It's not going to be happy about not seeing exhaust manifold pressure, but that's a long way from its heart. So let's get this thing fired up. I'm going to let it run, and then I'm going to put up all my tools and everything while this thing's sitting here running and getting warmed up. And then I'll pull the drains, and then I'll drive away. Okay, be nice now. We're going to turn the heat all the way on, circulate, turn that water valve so we can circulate stuff through the heater core, and we're running. Good deal. Had to kick the lights on the FAV. It's getting a little dark. And she developed a leak right there on the upper radiator hose. I'm going to be putting a new one of those on anyway. So I'm going to drain it anyway. So we'll get that all drained out. And I'm going to get this FAV 2 on the road. Good morning, and we're back this morning, and we're going to be, first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out and tap that hole in that pipe for the fitting for the exhaust pressure sensor and get that back together. I need to try to get that upper radiator hose sealed up a little better, and then I'm going to fill it up with water, and I'm going to just stick the hose in the coolant tank. And I'm going to take the 2 little lines off the tank just in case there's any oil. That'll be the top of the system coming back to the tank. And so the oil has a chance to come out instead of go back through. So I'll just run water in there. So we could actually just do that now. Put the water in and let it run and just have the drains open while I drill and tap out that hole. So I think that's what I'm going to do this morning. So let's get into it. All right, the water is flowing. I hope you guys don't have to pee. So the first thing is we're gonna drill this out. I'm not even gonna attempt to try to extract it. I've never gotten one to turn, and I don't think my luck's gonna get any better on this thing. So we're using a Matco Hyper Step drill bit. Now, these are one of the best drill bits I've ever used. They're a little pricier, like 230 bucks for a set. I know some other manufacturers make them, but I like to support my local Matco dealer, and he takes good care of me. So I bought these bits, and yeah, they'll eat. We'll just keep stepping up the size. So that's 1/8 inch MPT. Here's our new fitting. Let's get close. Okay, that should be close. Now we're going to be using a snap-on tap socket and an 1/8 inch MPT tap gear wrench. It's probably deep enough. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Oofda. This guy should have put some grease on the tap. It's alright. That's what the Metal Checker 9000's for. We'll get it. I think we pretty much got it all. I don't see nothing in there. Alright, I put some high temperature anti-seize on there. Protects up to 1800 degrees. We'll thread that little guy in the hole. Oh man, that wasn't even a challenge this morning. There. Alright, so I'm actually waiting on Joseph to get here with that sensor tube. So I went ahead and put a little bit more soap in it, and it's full of water. I'm going to run that a little bit more until he gets here, and then I'll drain that out, and we'll just run water through it till we got no more soap and oil coming out. So yeah, it's mad about the sensor not being plugged in. All right, so now I got this thing 100 degrees and hot, circulating soap and water. I'm gonna go up there, I'm gonna put the garden hose and turn it on just slightly, put it in the tank, and I'm gonna take these 2 top lines off and dump them. So all the soap and oily stuff should be coming out of the top of the radiator and the top of the thermostat housing. And then I'll be putting clean water in to suck through. I'm trying to put clean water in, oil and soap up and out. It's starting to clean up a little bit. Look at what I first drained out of this thing. It's nasty. I got the man, the myth, the legend, Joseph, helping me. He brought me parts, and I'm gonna have him swap out that coolant tank real quick. I'm going to remove the thermostat housing again and put new thermostats and gasket in that, and then we're going to replace all the coolant hoses, so the lower, upper radiator hoses, all the small hoses going on the top of the engine, those 2 that he's touching right now, we're going to get those all replaced. All right, got new thermostats in. Joseph's got a new tank in up there, so I'll put a new gasket right there, put that on, get that all torqued to spec, and then I can put all these shields that go around the charge air pipe here and get that all buttoned up. Thermostat housing on and torqued. Got a new sensing tube here, and I put high temperature anti-seize on that, because guess who's going to have to take that back off when we do the manifold and turbo? This guy. So now I just got to put the upper radiator hose. Joseph's currently pulling the other end of this lower radiator hose off. It's got rubber ends on it and a metal pipe in between. To get that off, replace that, and then I just got to replace this one right there, and we should be good to go. And done. Got it all back together with new hoses. Shields are back on. Minus, the green ones that go here. That's the last step. But Joseph's got the Milwaukee transfer pump ready to rock with coolant. He's going to go up there and stick the hose in, and it won't take no time to shove this in there with that bad boy. Well, I ran it, got it hot. The thermostat's opened up about 183-ish and cooled down to 180, and it just stayed there. The turbo actually, once it warmed up, started sounding better. It kind of came out of it. So it's just got to last 2 or 3 more days, and then, we'll lay hands on thee and we will heal thee. So I just need you to do 2 or 3 more days, little buddy. You can do it. All right. That's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. Comment below. Let me know how I'm doing. And until next time, keep that gridiron moving.